for this review, we have the Hot Toys Hono Studios Wolverine, and this is the regular edition, the yellow and blue version. So, starting off, get some good box art. It does come in a plastic bag. Take off real quick. It was not taped, which was interesting. Most of these are taped up normally from Hot Toys. The brown one was taped up. Um, there's a very unique uh, way that this packaging works. We'll take it out here in a moment, but just kind of want to go over that. The box art is really nice. This particular design isn't quite the representation of what's in the box. This is more modern looking yellow and blue outfit, but it's still cool nevertheless. And then you got nice X-Men logo there. On the top, X-Men logo. On the side, X-Men logo. Same thing on the other side, nothing special there. X-Men logo. And then on the back, get to see some photography, a bunch of warning information, and then we've got UPC and some other identification at the bottom. There is a foil sticker, I guess, to prove authenticity. That's pretty much the packaging. So this guy opens up a little weird. So this comes down and this comes up, and there's this elaborate summary of what Hono Studio is supposed to represent. So if you want to read that, you can. And then you kind of slide this off. And you have your figure. So in the box behind the main tray is this longer black piece, and it's basically a backdrop, and you can put a comic book in it. They print basically a little poster on the back of the inside of the box, and as you see, there's a little icon suggesting that you cut this out and use this for the backdrop, but then you'll tear up the box. If you're going to throw the box away, yes, cool. If you want to keep a hold of the box, probably not a good idea to tear it up. On the other side of this is basically instructions. So there is no instruction booklet. This is the instructions, and it basically tells you what the range of motion is, what you can expect from the figure. It does say outfit is non-detachable. So just some information there. Okay, this will be difficult to kind of show off in the packaging, but basically you got the two claws, the hands with the claws. You got the two face plates. You got Wolverine himself. There's a piece of plastic behind him. If he looks weird, it's because he's already fallen out of the package, and I just didn't show it. um, It's got these plastic protectors, and they come off pretty easily. He's got a lot more plastic protectors, so there's some on his feet. You can just slide these guys off. They're kind of like Mofex style pegs. Just peg it back in. Part of the reason this guy doesn't cost $300 is because they've done some creative things with the limbs. So obviously the feet are plastic. Or what they expect you to do with the arms. Okay, they pop off pretty easily. You can kind of see the construction here. And matter of fact, while we got this off, you can see how this arm is set up and how this shoulder pad is basically pegged into the shoulder. Just pop it back in. I will say that Hono Studio figures are pretty nice as far as the latex goes. My experience with latex figures is they've been kind of like sticky when you touch them, and so far these guys have been like they don't feel sticky. They're drier, so to speak, so they don't feel so weird and whatnot. Okay, and then he's got some plastic around his head. Just pop the head off pretty easily. You will pop the head off to change out the faces, and we'll get into that. Just pop it back on. Spin like that. Fix them a little bit. Okay. Another thing I'm noticing right away is his gloves are very shiny. His boots are shiny too. I guess his little outer underwear is shiny also. That's interesting. This is definitely like a X-Men, cartoon style look here. So let's continue going over everything here. He will come with a pair of extra dumbbells for the hands. He does have a stand. The stand has some foam in it, I guess, to help protect it during shipping. And then you take that foam out and then stick the cardboard, the backdrop to it, like so. There will be a stand and a little thing to put on it to help hold them up. These are pretty hard to put in. It takes a lot of effort. To the point where, like, if you put too much pressure, it seems like you could possibly crack that clear plastic. So I would be very careful. Um, Maybe you need to heat up the stand or the pole a little bit to get it in there. As far as the rest of the accessories, he only comes with the other two closed fist clawed hands, and then he's got two more faces, a kind of like uh, grimacing face and kind of like a slight smiley snarl kind of face. And to put these on, you will need to take the head off. It comes off pretty easily. And there is a little nub that you just kind of push out. So you've got that. Also, I've noticed with the other Wolverine, it helps to put the head on and kind of push the face in and not push the face in first. That looks pretty decent. Zoom on it so you can see a little bit better. It looks pretty good. And he's got a bit more of a smiley, kind of smart ass looking grin kind of face too. He also comes with some claw effects. I am not going to show these off because they they're not great. They're okay, but they don't fit very well, and I'm kind of worried about scratching up the paint on the claws. The claws are very nice, but they are plastic. The fist and the claw and the back of the hand are two separate pieces, but the paint that they use really makes it look metallic. So they've done a good job with the presentation, but ultimately these are plastic, and I would be careful about how you display him. You don't want to have this thing fall and this thing do a shelf dive, and then who knows what's going to happen to this if it impacts against the, you know, falls on impact or something like that. Okay, so as you saw at the beginning, the arms are their own separate piece. The head is a separate piece. If the legs are separate from the torso, but I have to imagine they are because there is a pretty nice range of motion on them. Um, for some reason, this arm likes to come off. I'm gonna be aware of that. I kind of feel like the pauldrons help to like push the arm away from the torso. So just kind of be aware of that. But the elbow is ratcheted. There is a bicep swivel. The hands are your typical Hot Toys types of hands. You saw the hip just now. I think it's a ball joint in here. The legs are very much like a Mafek style kind of leg. They are not ratcheted, but they are pretty tight. Um, the neck is on some type of joint structure, like a double hinge structure. There is ab crunch. I'm afraid to put it through too many motions, not wanting to damage the fabric, just kind of being weird. But it is a bit restricted, and I feel like if you try to do an extreme pose, it might, I don't know. As you start doing it, you can just kind of feel the fabric kind of stretching. So I don't know. Me, I would not try to put this through a dynamic ab crunch. And then you saw the feet earlier. They're basically, on a hinged joint with a rocker, and then he's got toe articulation. So pretty decent articulation. Because of the design, you're gonna get a lot more articulation than like a standard Hot Toys figure. Mostly because you don't have a plasticky, rubbery costume over the entire figure. There are purposeful segments that allow you to get more articulation out of the different joint areas. So that's kind of cool. Um, the figure looks really nice. There is some detailing in the pauldron, so they're not just flat. There's even wrinkles in his shorts back here, so it put a lot of attention to detail in this. Even on the front, there's like wrinkles and stuff. Fat, there's some detailing on the belt also. Maybe hard to pick up, but there's like some etched in lines and some seams. So, they did a good job of like taking the flat design and trying to, put just a little bit of detail in there. I think it looks good. All right, so let's do some comparisons. I've got a Marvel Legends 12-inch Wolverine. I think these were nice figures. Um, even by today's standards. It's kind of unfortunate they didn't continue this line, but I kind of imagine maybe it didn't do well. These guys also have pinned joints, although the pins aren't too big, but probably not a fair comparison, but just to give you an idea of what this guy stacks up with, a $50 figure. All right, so here he is with the brown suit version, and you can tell there's a lot of reuse. The head, obviously, the arms, the gauntlets are the same, just painted different. Hands, the legs, all the same. The fabric seems to be the same type of fabric, but the yellow and blue, there's like this thick seam line on the front here and on the sides here that is not present here. But other than that, they are pretty much the same figure. Lastly, just going to compare him with, I think this is Iconic. So if you wanted to have, a nice, Marvel versus Street Fighter type setup, you could definitely do that. Also of note, the like I was talking about with the silicone, this guy likes to lean forward, which is kind of scary. Like this guy, the rubber's like a little bit more, tacky. The silicone's a little bit more tacky. This is not as tacky. So you can tell like there's a generational difference between these two silicone materials. So just something to be aware of. So that is the review. Definitely recommend getting this guy. He is shipping from Sideshow now. Overseas people have had access to him for a while, but if you're in the States, you should be able to pick one of these up pretty easily if you want it. Definitely recommend getting it. So yeah, if you haven't got it, get it. For 160 bucks, it's a good price for a 12-inch Hot Toys figure. So that's the review. Let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, tune into more videos coming up. And if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you.